Hello, friends. Welcome to the second Saturday Build and Chat. Today I am working on Bowser, which is super fun. Thank you to LEGO for providing the set for review. Through the LEGO Ambassador Network, we have the opportunity to select sets that are currently on shelves occasionally to do a review of, and I really wanted to build the sculpted build of Bowser, so very excited to dive in. I am starting today on step 5 or bag 5 because that's when we get to build out Bowser. So that's when we're actually building his body, which is super fun. But wanted to show you first, last night, I built out this portion. Whoops. So these towers come right off, and they come off so that they can hide other elements underneath. So here's the base. I really enjoyed building out the details here, where you see kind of the stonework, which is really cool. And then also there's this hidden compartment that opens and closes and has one of those scanners so that you could actually put Mario on it or Luigi or any other character and he would interact with it, which is fun. But yeah, I built this yesterday. This was bags 1 through 4. So this tower goes here. And then this tower goes on top of this POW button, which I think is so fun. So it's double-sided. There are 2 of these 1x2 printed bricks in there, and everything in the set so far is printed, which is cool. So yeah, that tucks away in there, and then this goes on top. Let me set it down to do this. There we go. And this will be what Bowser stands on, which is super cool. So we're going to dive into bag 5, which is the start of Bowser's actual torso and body, and we'll see how far we get today. So I see some people have joined. Welcome. Good to see y'all. I'd love for you to drop in the chat just a quick hello and say where you're joining from, which is fun. Let me open comments to make sure I can see. There we go. And I'm going to also add my overview from above, which I wish there was a way to rotate it. I'm sure there is. Let's see. I will leave it like this for now, and then potentially rotate it in a little bit. But yeah, so working on Bowser's torso. So we will dive in. Happy Mario Day week. This is, I decided it's a full week because I was going to do my Saturday stream anyway and felt like may as well do this Mario-based set. It's one that I've had for, I don't know, almost a year now in my backlog, and I've been super excited to build it out, but hadn't had a chance to do it yet. And so thought this is the perfect opportunity with it being Mario Day week. And if you look on like Nintendo's website and everything, they're still doing promotions all throughout the week. So I thought it works. They're counting as it a full week. I can count it as a full week too. So curious what you're building or what you're up to this weekend. We have our friend's baby shower for their second baby tonight. So that's exciting. So we'll be headed to that. And we've got our TechSlug meeting that's once a month tomorrow. We are working on building some things that'll be a part of a collaborative build for TechSlug at Brick Rodeo, which I'm really excited about. I'm not participating in the collab part of it this year, but really excited to see what my peers build. They are doing a really cool steampunk themed city. So I'm really excited for y'all to experience that as well. All right. So tons of yellow, green, and white that we're going to get for this build, of course. Makes a lot of sense with it being Bowser. And it looks like a fair amount of brown, reddish brown too, and some black pieces as well. I don't think with sets like this that people tend to part them out. I feel like typically if you're going to get a set like this, you're buying it to build it and display it. But it is something that, you know, I always hear from people some comments on like, oh, that set only has these colors, or I don't like this for these reasons or whatever. Truthfully, I think, yeah, like we're not parting this one out at all. He's going to live built as is and displayed for sure. It's interesting. I got a comment yesterday on one of the videos or pieces of content I did for the new Jurassic Park T-Rex, and that person was complaining about, it's just a whole bunch of tan, and it's like, well, yeah, if you're going to part it out, that's true. But again, I don't think a lot of people are buying that set to part out. I think most people are buying that set because they want to build it and display it, and the tan makes perfect sense for it. So we loved the build for sure. Yay. So yeah, curious on what y'all are up to this weekend. If you have any fun plans. I'm also curious how the weather is where you are. Here it is cooler today than it was yesterday, but yesterday had a high of 91, and today has a high of 81. So that's nice. It's a nice change for sure. Okay. So I believe this is going to be like the top portion of the torso. So I think this part is going to face forward, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like in the order of the bags, there are 22 bags for the set. Hi, Ninja Brick Productions. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. In the instructions, there's 22 bags, and it looks like the last portion of the bags are the shell. So I'm thinking this is going to be kind of the front portion of the torso. I am building out Bowser, which is super fun. And very excited to be finally building this one. It's been in my backlog for a long time. So what are you up to today? What kinds of fun builds are you working on, or things are you doing to enjoy your weekend? I love these larger sculpted builds. I feel like it teaches you so much about how to use bricks in a more artistic way, different than minifigure scale, which is super fun. And I love the storytelling that comes from minifigure scale. But I'm really drawn to the more kind of sculpted build aspect of things. All right. And it looks like there will be a fair amount of technic in this as well that I'm sure is built to help kind of secure the core and make sure that this is a very strong build. Also, Ninja, where are you at? Where are you calling in from? Or not calling in. Where are you joining from? I am in Austin, Texas. And thankfully, the weather is cooler today, but we're starting to get the really, really hot temperatures, which is not fun. So part of why I wanted to build this was A, it's been in our backlog for a long time, but B, I got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas and have been loving playing it and really enjoying kind of getting back into my gaming that I did as a kid. So that's been a lot of fun. I've got Mario Kart 8 came with the Switch, and so of course I've been playing that a little bit, but also have been playing Animal Crossing, which is the main reason I wanted to get the Switch. I fell in love with Animal Crossing because of Lego, so Lego is to blame for my recent reintroduction back into gaming again. But then also got Mario Party Jamboree, which is actually really fun. There's a lot of really fun games that you can play that are all these mini games, and I like that it's some of them are collaborative and some of them are competitive. And it's kind of like playing a big board game. As you work your way around the board and complete different tasks and things, you have the opportunity to move forward and advance and push people back and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just really enjoy that. So that's been a lot of fun. All right, so we built this kind of Technic core piece using some axles and using some brackets and things, or not brackets, what are those words? I forgot the word for these rounded pieces. But that's going to hold this portion. It looks like this might create a movement piece. So as you can see, we're sliding in through these Technic bricks that have the hole in them. We're sliding in an axle right through, and that's going to attach this piece in the middle. part of why I was excited about this was the elements of movement that are included in this larger sculpted build. So excited to see what they all become. All right. So slide that through. Come on. I'm getting caught on something. So yeah, what are you up to this weekend? What's taking up your Saturday and Sunday? Like I said, we've got our friend's baby shower, so that'll be fun to go to tonight. And then we are headed to, I've got the Tech Slug meeting tomorrow, so that's always fun to get to see my Tech Slug buddies. Yeah, this is not wanting to go through. Something is tricky. Let's see. It's kind of... okay. So it looks like we got off center with the last piece here. Let's see if I can hold that steady. It's interesting. I had a friend who built Bowser, and this was her first Lego set, which is quite the Lego set to start with, for sure. But she was saying how challenging it was. And truthfully, like this piece that's early in the build, this is bag 5. It is kind of challenging. So there we go. All right. I'm curious for those who've joined, I'm hearing an echo for myself. Hi, Forever Sorting. How's it going? Is this Rob or Danielle or both? And also, are you hearing an echo? Because I'm hearing an echo, but it might just be me. Hopefully it's just me. All right, got that through. What are y'all up to this weekend? Anything fun? Let's see. Okay, so this goes... okay. I was missing a piece. There we go. Rob, good stuff. Danielle's working. No echo. Okay, good. I'm always paranoid that it is because I can always hear myself in my headphones, but it's not, which is great. I'm trying to figure out how to rotate this camera that's on the right-hand side. It might be something I need to do from the phone. Let me just so I can see, but I don't think so. No, that's just showing kind of regular. Let's see, if I do this and then come back down, does that do it? No. I thought maybe if I like have it twist, but no, it's just not wanting to do it, and that's okay. So, yeah. If I do solo, can I rotate it? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, well, we will bring back. Okay. Yeah. Is Danielle working at a greenhouse? Is that right? Do I remember that correctly? I think that's what you'd said before, but I can't remember. I'm also curious if y'all like to build like more sculpted builds or if you like minifigure scale or whatnot. That's what I thought. Okay, native plant nursery. Nice, good stuff. I know, Rob, I've seen some of your sculpted builds because you did the really cool kind of those balls that rolled up from the game, the video game that you had at Rickford, Virginia. That was really cool. She's actually going to be building a mock of it for, oh, so cool. That is fun. I love when people build mocks of real life places that they've been or that are important to them. It's always neat to see kind of the storytelling. Yes, the Katamari, right. Super cool. After posting about it and sharing about it, I had people share either in comments or DM about how they played the game and really liked it. I was like, oh, that's really fun because it was a game that was brand new to me. I'd never heard of that before. So, and which game system was that on? Was it on just like PC or was it on a specific game system? I know we talked about this forever ago, but I don't fully remember all the details. Let's see. Okay. Getting more of these curves. Lots of great curved pieces here for the start of the torso, and I'm excited. The shell in particular is actually the part I'm most excited about. Nintendo. Okay, cool. So I wonder if I could find it on my Switch. There might be a way to find it since they have those older games with the older game packs that you can download. We've only downloaded the what was it, the Game Boy one so far. So, all right. So yeah, and we downloaded the Game Boy one, and honestly, what I played most from it was Tetris. Hi Haley, how's it going? Happy Saturday. I am building out Bowser. So yesterday I worked on bags 1 through 4 in advance of this stream because I knew that they probably were more like the base or whatever, and it was exactly just the base that Bowser stands on, and that way I could dive into the build of his actual torso today. So working on that. I don't think I'll get through his whole body, but it's nice to at least get a head start on it too. And like I said earlier too, this was in my backlog for a long time. Through the Lego Ambassador Network, we have the opportunity to request some sets to review that are on store shelves. And so at some point last year, I requested this, knowing that I was really excited about the sculpted build, but didn't have a chance to really find a time to do it until this week. And I thought, I actually had debated going live on Mario Day, but then thought, no, I have my monthly second Saturday stream. I'll just do it then. So it's Mario week. Hey Mayo, how's it going? Let's see. Are y'all building anything fun right now? Working on anything cool? I know with it being convention season, a lot of people are getting excited about some big mocks. You see, you took the ad out of your... I did, yes. Based on feedback that I think you provided or somebody else about how it wasn't possible to actually message at me in the chat, which I didn't realize. So all of this has been interesting learning to navigate moving over to, or adding on YouTube. And I've enjoyed it. The live streams have been a lot of fun, especially when people have joined and engaged on the chat. I've had some where I've had some guests on, which has been a lot of fun too. And so it's been really nice to kind of start something new. But yes, lots of learning from those of you who are long-standing veterans of YouTube. All right. This is interesting building. So lots of starting to get some more snot building techniques now. And I want to show you what I just did, because this I think is really fascinating. So on the side, let's see, I'll do the large one. Here we go. On the side here, we added these tiles, and then I'm going to turn this sideways and show you. I'm using some snot building techniques and put this plate on, and it snaps on here, but that creates kind of that raised, like step-by-step lowering and raising effect. So I'm interested as to what that'll do once we add some other pieces. I'm sure that'll help with making it more rounded and smooth as we go out. So, all right, let's see. Okay. And yeah, this middle part that spins and moves back and forth, I'm curious on what that'll do. So we'll have to wait and see. Typically with builds like this, I like to be surprised by it and to learn and experience it as I go. And so I didn't really look up in advance, like how it moves and articulates and everything. So we will find out together, which is fun. All right. Oh, I missed a piece. Let's see, that would be 2x3s. Yeah. Okay. Have any of y'all built Bowser before? How's it going trying to figure out how to build a mock tomorrow? Why tomorrow? Like what in particular when you're saying trying to figure out how to build a mock tomorrow? Is there anything special about tomorrow? Let's see, I'm missing it. Here we go. Here's the plate. You love that. You call that Lego spoilers. Yeah, right? I like to avoid the Lego spoilers. When I'm doing review sets, and I'm curious on if you do this as well, I debate whether or not I'm allowed to share some of the spoilers that are in that. So with the recent build of the T-Rex, Philip and I were having so much fun building it, and there's a hidden detail on the inside that's really fun, but we didn't want to share it because I didn't want to spoil it. Okay, I did something wrong. Oh, this goes, does that go underneath? Here we go. Oh, you can hear Penny. Yep, she's outside the door wanting to know why she's not in. She's not in with me right now. All right, so these go underneath. I had that above. There we go. But yeah, in the end for the build for the T-Rex, I ended up sharing the spoiler, but in the video, I have an area where I put spoiler alert over it and said, fast forward 10 seconds or look away for 10 seconds. And I didn't verbalize what it was that people were seeing. Tomorrow, oh, that's right. It is like middle of the night for you. Gotcha. You made promises to your Instagram followers. Fair enough. Yeah. Do you know what you're wanting to do for that mock? Or is that the whole thing? Like you're trying to decide even what it is? Yeah. Yes. You know what detail I'm talking about? Yes. For the tips and bricks reveal, you feel like you have to give spoilers because it's right. No, it makes a lot of sense. People want to see, and that's why they follow tips and bricks. They want to see all of the details and the fun build techniques and everything. And usually the spoilery type things would be included in that. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I really debated, like, do I include this? Do I not? But in the end, left it in and just had a very clear spoiler warning. So one of my good friends of my lug has said, like, hey, you know, congrats on being an ambassador. I love that you're doing this. He's like, but I want you to know I won't ever watch your videos because I don't like to see any builds until I build them myself. And I was like, that's fair. You know, it's not for everybody. I also get a lot of people who will watch who won't ever build the sets, but they just watch them to see what it's like and to get that experience. So I think it's worth sharing some of those things for the fun of people who want to see and learn about it without actually being builders themselves. But my hope is that some of those people become builders. So who knows? All right, let's see. Oh, fun. Okay, that'll be a fun build. Mayo, I like that idea. So attempting to build Lego Star Wars Polybag Classic Space Robot crossovers. That is so fun. Y'all, speaking of Classic Space, let me finish this step and then I want to show you something that I found at our half price books. I want to say back in like December or January. I just came across it today or yesterday as I was like cleaning up this space because it's been a while since I've filmed in here and this space had gotten kind of out of hand. But I found this guy. And I'm so excited to build this nostalgic build. Like this was one from my childhood and all of my childhood bricks are gone, which makes me so sad. And so anytime I find things that I can rebuild from my childhood, I get super excited about them. So yeah, that was a wonderful find. It gives me all the retro vibes. All right, lots of slopes here. Just about done with bag 5. And there are 22 bags. So like I said, I'm not going to get through this whole thing today, at least not on the stream. We've got some other things going on this afternoon. And so I'll probably work on it a little bit, but not sure when I'll finish it. But I will make sure to share fun finished photos and stuff with it. I do like that with these builds, that's a RoboForce set from 1997. So that was around the time that I was getting out or that I was moving into my dark ages. So I would have been, I don't know, about 13, 14. And yeah, I was just hitting a point where Lego building was less a part of my life. I was really, really involved in theater, and that was becoming a bigger time suck, doing theater and doing music stuff all the time. And so it just became less and less of our priority. And then somehow my parents got rid of all the Lego. and I still don't know where it went, and they don't know where it went from what it seems. And it just makes me so sad because I had so many amazing sets. Um, Haley, what were some of the sets that were nostalgic for you? And Mayo, actually, all of y'all. I'm curious to know what some of them were for you. For me, when I think of Lego as a kid, I think of these robot type mech ones that were from I think it was Space Police. It was black, red, and the green. Ice Planet, which is what this one I think is. Or no, you said it was RoboForce. So maybe RoboForce, but it has the Ice Planet colors in it. And then there was the black and green ones, which I think was Blacktron. But those were all pretty nostalgic for me. And then the Islanders. Those are the ones that like actually come to mind for me. So. Yay. You inherited Blacktron 2 and Ice Planet sets from the 90s. Yes. Oh my gosh. They're just really fun. Okay. Finished with bag 5. Let's dive into bag 6. So Mayo inherited Blacktron 2 and Ice Planet sets from the 90s. And then Haley, System Divers, Rescue Q in Space. Fun. Was Rescue Q the one that had the octagonal shaped yellow bricks? I can't remember if that was that one or something else. Yay, we're getting some green. I feel like the bags are always excessively loud. And Western as well, nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I didn't build many of the Western sets. My neighbor did, and so I built a lot with him. And so I think because he had them, I didn't want them because I got to build his. But I collected the Islanders ones, and then also the ones that were that had Merlin. I'm forgetting the name of the theme right now. I looked over because I have the gift of purchase that was previous from last year or from a couple years ago. So, but yeah, the classic 4 themes: town, space, castle, pirates. Okay, yeah, gotten back most of your favorite sets. Oh, fun. Yeah, I wish I had somehow found a way to save them from my childhood because that would be great. But I do have a couple of the Islanders ones that I've been able to buy secondhand in my adulthood now. So I wanted them all on display, but I don't have any room. So you also, yeah, the Island Catamaran was amazing and so much fun. I loved it. It was a little tiny one that had the 2 boats side by side connected with the ship. The octagon stuff was Aqua Zone. Thank you. I couldn't remember that one. So, and then you're saying most of your originals are at your sister's house. Are they still there? Oh, that's cool. Give up your childhood to nice. Yeah. Oh wow, when they were displaced by a house fire. That was very generous of you, but also what a rough thing. We had our sister-in-law's sister's family also had a major house fire and lots of damage and everything, and it was horrific to see them go through that. But thankfully, insurance really worked well with them in that case, and they were able to do a lot of repairs and things to the house and stay in the house, so they weren't completely displaced. But such a scary thing to go through. Magisto, thank you. Yes, Dragon Masters, yes. So I had some of those dragons, and that's like a white whale thing for me would be to find one of the original green dragons, which I know that I can find if I look on Bricklink and whatnot, but I just would love to find one out in the wild. There's something just special about like going into a Bricks and Minifigures or some other resell space and finding something like that too. So all right, so built this portion, and this is going to go interesting. So this portion goes right over these tiles, and it looks like it doesn't actually connect in. So I'm guessing, yeah. So I see now when I raise and lower this thing, it's kind of bumping that up and down. So this is part of that movement that we're going to get. That's cool. Good stuff. You did an AT-AT crossover. Oh, fun. Yeah. I'm excited to see what you end up doing. So is this for your YouTube stream, or are you streaming on Instagram now too? So, all right. Yeah, I like seeing the innards of how some of these little movement pieces happen, but also I don't know what I'm building in terms of these movement pieces. So excited to see once it all starts to come together, or as it starts to come together. Oh, that's what this is going to do. So I know this set is full of some really cool ones. First insurance check they got was for the Lego because my brother in-law kept such a good inventory. That's smart, and also something I should probably do, for sure. You recommend everybody keep a detailed spreadsheet? Yes, for sure. That's something that I didn't start tracking what we own um, back when I started to get back into Lego again, and I wish I did at the time because now it feels like a huge task to do. But I didn't know about like some of the websites and things that you could use for that. So I'm sure with some time I could do that and go back through my inventory. I probably should. It's good advice for sure. All right. With these trays being yellow and a lot of the parts being yellow, I'm finding it a little bit hard to find the pieces that I need for some of these. So, pro tip, yes, keep a detailed spreadsheet of what you have for sure. All right, so more bracket stuff. I like seeing the shaping all come together too. So, let's see, I'll lift this up and show you in just a second, but it's just the base of it. We're seeing that rounded piece all the way around, right, with the plates down there, but it'll be neat as this continues to build upward. And I'll raise this up to show you again. Let's see if I can do it in this screen. I'll highlight that one. So we have this piece here. It's just resting in there. It's not actually studded in, but it's going to move with the movement elements that are on the inside. So curious as to what that'll be. It's like it could be a heartbeat, which I don't think is what they did. But that's, or like you're having really bad indigestion. So let's see, exit solo layout. There we go. You realized last year you don't like building mocks on streams, just sets. Oh my gosh, that makes total sense. Honestly, I think I would have a really hard time doing a live stream of a mock because for me, my mock building is usually kind of trial and error. Like I'm putting things together, I'm changing things up, and all of our Lego, most of our Lego rather, is on the other side of this computer. I've got my basically wall of the IKEA shelves where we keep all of it really well sorted, and it's just not conducive for streaming in a lot of ways. So all right, so now we're covering up some of these other bits. I'm also noticing as I've been doing some larger sculpted builds, how often when they use these connector pieces, they put two side by side, and I think that's so smart. I've done some characters that I built where I only used one ball joint for like the shoulders and arms and whatever, and they fall apart so easily with just a little bit of weight. So doubling it up makes a lot of sense for strength and stability. I think in the T-Rex and the tail, they had even tripled it up, which makes a lot of sense because that is a much heavier, heftier build. But definitely a trick that I'm learning from these larger builds is to make sure that you're adding enough stability in, and that's one way to do so. Ooh, IKEA Billy bookcases. Yes, we've got 4 in the den, which is over here. And that's the room where often when we're doing like build review sets, we build in there because we watch movies while we build. And a lot of the sets that we get are pop culture themed. And so like when we built Beauty and the Beast last week and when we built Jurassic Park, we were in there, put up a foldable table in the middle of the room and build it out while watching the movies. And that's just so much fun. So. You realize last, yeah. So you were saying about the mocks. Yeah, I've not found a way to do mock building live stream. I did try a live stream build of a mock couple weeks ago. So I'm on Instagram. I'm running a fun weekly build challenge where I'm using the calendar that Lego produced. It's the Build Everyday calendar. And through that, there's a simple prompt every week. It's the exact same concept as the calendar that I did in 2023. It's just that one was a build every day. And so there was a prompt every day. So 6 prompts a week with one over the weekends. This is one a week, which is much more doable for people. And so I thought that seems like something more people could participate in. Anyway, for one of the challenges, I decided to do that as a live build with that group, and it was a lot of fun, but also it was a smaller build, and I kind of had a better sense in my head of what it was I wanted to create, so it's much easier to navigate through. But yeah, I haven't really had too many opportunities to try mock building live. Haley, I feel like you mostly do mock building. So I'm curious, as you do your huge mocks that are incredible, if you haven't seen it, y'all, you need to check out Haley's stuff. It's really, really incredible. When you build and design these, do you design them digitally first? And if so, does that then give you kind of your own instructions to follow? Or is it all kind of the trial and error like I've been talking about? And same goes for all of y'all, I guess, too. But I just know I've seen some of your incredible large builds. Okay, so this is interesting because we're getting this larger ball and cup joint here, and we have them 2 side by side that are attached with some Technic pins, and then I just attach this on top. So it's lots of security that's going to hold those together. But curious what that'll end up being on the inside of his torso. Mayo, you've never built a mock digitally. Trial and error, yes. For me, that's similar. I've done a little bit of mocking digitally, but it's more like small bits and pieces. So I have some projects that should be coming through the Lego Ambassador Network with the Pick-a-Brick projects, where they've allowed us to design mocks and get Pick-a-Brick parts from it. And those are really the only ones. Actually, there's only one that I've done in there that was designing it first. So it's a much, much larger sculptural build. And I used it not to design it so much as to figure out what parts I needed to order for it, since that was something that was a specific project. But yeah, usually it's like little bits and pieces here and there. Like when I did my big Wicked mosaic, I did small swatches of different portions of it to figure out kind of loosely what it was that I wanted. And then that helped guide my decisions around what I ordered through the Pick-a-Brick project. And yeah, I ended up having a bunch of pieces left over too that I didn't use because it was all kind of designed by hand. And so I ordered some additional pieces just in case. And some really I almost ran out of. Some I had to even pull from my own stash for sure. But then others I had it leftovers because I ended up not using the volume that I thought I was going to. So trial and error, yes. Makes sense. Said mosaic, you'll play around with a mosaic maker. So yeah, I've done that too a little bit, specifically for when I did just the 9x9 or the 3x3 rather, with 9 grids or 9 squares, especially at the early stages of learning how to do some of those mosaics. So started with that a little bit, and those were like, I did a Sarah Bareilles one from Waitress, and I did Lizzo and Taylor Swift album covers. And those are fun. I enjoyed that a little bit. For the face of Elphaba, to get the coloring right, I used one of those mosaic makers as well to look at what that little section would be for her face too. So I do find them to be helpful, but that's different than like building it all in Studio for sure. So you've just started figuring out Studio. You don't use it for many full builds. Good for working out certain features. Exactly. Like that's how I've seen it to be helpful for me. And it's interesting because I have had some builds where people have asked for instructions, and because I don't do it digitally, I have to go back in after the fact and make the instructions. So I have been toying around with learning how to do that that's actually how I started to learn Studio, was trying to create some instructions for a couple builds, which I never ended up completing. So they're all projects that are works in progress projects as well. So, but yeah, like I just it's not a way that my mind works. I want to be. I'm much more tactile. I'm a hands-on learner. So, oh, paper and pencil. Okay, I've done that a little bit with grid paper too. So I found Lego grid paper to be really effective and helpful in figuring some of those things out, but haven't used it too much yet. So, okay, this is an interesting piece. So this is going to be, there's a little red ball attached to an axle, and I think that's going to be something that you use to twist and move something around. So that's exciting. Where's that? Here we go. Here's the piece I needed. Yes, agreed, Rob, about it takes a lot of getting used to. The format, it just the formatting issues that I have with it, like there's stuff where I'm like, why is this not possible the way that I want it to be possible? Or why is it so oversensitive with certain things when I click on certain things to try and select them, and undersensitive when I want it to select different things? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so, yeah. It's not my favorite. I did see there's a new series on how to use Studio that Tips and Bricks is doing. And I thought maybe I could stand to learn some. So that might be worth reading through and learning along with y'all. But haven't invested the time to go back in yet. So the last project that I did in there was the larger one that hopefully I'll get the pieces for to do this larger build. So, but that was, I submitted that back in August, I think, and there's just a big delay in the project. So, okay, so oh, I'm looking for gray. I was looking for the wrong color. Your travel exhibit mosaic mock for conventions. Oh yeah, 96 by 96 studs. So that was, for me, the Wicked build was the first large scale build in general that I've done in terms of a mock where it was traveling in a plane. In the past, we'd only ever been to Brick Rodeo, and so it was an easy drive, either 5 minutes from our house, which is amazing when it's in Austin, or I want to say it's about 2 hours from our house, not too bad when it's in Houston or just outside of Houston. So that was easier to bring things like my Barbie dream house that's very precarious and falls apart, that barely touching it. And so that was easy to bring to those things. But when traveling through flights, doing something that was a larger mosaic worked really well for the travel because it was easy to kind of separate and take apart as well. So Excel, okay, nice. So a couple of y'all using Excel. You use it for figuring out base plates. So Philip, actually, this is years ago, 2017, we started the joint Brady Joiner Bricks account on Instagram. And it just eventually kind of morphed into me using it all the time and him not using it as much. Part of it was we had it on both of our phones, and then he lost access to it for some reason. I don't know if we like got a new phone and we couldn't log him back in or something. I don't fully remember the details, but it just became like, this is more my space and what I use it for. But that started as a joint account for the two of us. And we had set up our own mosaic wall in the house. And Philip had started to design mosaics using Excel. And so we have a whole bunch of printed Excel grid mosaic patterns for different seasons and things that we bring out at different holidays for our friends to help decorate our walls with. And it's so fun because it gives them like the step-by-step process of building something small, and it's very attainable because it's just a 16 by 16, grid for people who want to participate in it. But yeah, he used Excel entirely for that. So our guy Pedro's studio is. Awesome. It's really exciting to see. I've been reading some of the slides as I've been going through. I just haven't like opened Studio and applied what I'm learning from them. So, but I do like the way that that Pedro is writing all the instructions and details in there. It feels very accessible to me. So, yay. You're in the market for a corkboard to keep your mosaic framed 350. Oh, interesting. For corkboard. So are you wanting that for for the actual frame, or like you're wanting that to mount it on the back of it? Curious. All right, let's see. Y'all, time flies when I'm on these streams, especially when y'all join and chat and such. It's so fun. So thank you for being here and having fun with me today. But I'm always surprised when I'm like, wow, I said that I wanted to build Bowser, and I've gotten through bags 5 and half of 6 in 45 minutes. Like, what? And I know part of it is the like aspect of like chatting and talking with people makes it take more time for sure. But yeah, it's always fun to me because I'm like, I thought I was going to do more than that. Same with Beauty and the Beast Castle. I thought for sure I would be able to finish it in the 2 movies, and definitely did not. It took 2 movies and 2 additional documentaries that were very short. Like, I think it was an hour total for the documentaries, but still, it was like, yep, took longer than I thought. And that was before the editing and all that too. So the editing is a process that I don't love so much with doing reviews. That's one thing that I'm like trying to find ways to improve on. I have found different ways to build the sets and film what I'm building in a way that helps it be a little bit more expedient later on. Okay, so we're getting some different pieces here. Let me zoom in to the larger, or to the overhead view. So we've got this part here that moves back and forth, and you can see this piece is going to push back and forth, and when it does, it hits this white piece. So that is making that white piece go up and down. So I'm thinking this is going to have to do with maybe the mouth opening and closing, or maybe like when it's shooting fire from the mouth. I'm not exactly sure, but I do like the Technic built portion of this so far. Corkboard is lighter than a wood-backed frame. Ah, gotcha. That actually makes sense. So the Wicked mosaic we just have hanging from the 2 hooks, the Lego hooks that go in the back. And it is pushing the limits of weight for sure for that. And so we've talked about, I have a dream of doing a couple of other Broadway ones, for sure 1 other, maybe 2 others. And I just need to be thoughtful about the weight in terms of the parts that are going inside. I need to make sure it's the same weight or less than the Wicked mosaic, because that one, every time we take it off the wall, which I've done for taking to conventions and things, it makes me so nervous. So nervous. I had an opportunity to display it at our Bricks and Minifigs. So we have 3 Bricks and Minifigs in town now. One has been here for 6 or 7 years, I think 7 years, because, or coming up on 8 actually, because they started the same year that Philip and I started the joint Brady Joiner Bricks account. And we got really close with the owners, Gary and Holly. They're so nice. They're so great. And they've been around for a long time. And then 2 more popped up just this last year or so. The one down south, Tommy and Becky are the owners. And I've gotten really close with them and have gotten to do some cool workshops with them as well. But they invited me for their grand opening and wanted me to bring some mocks to display. And so I brought Wicked, which was really fun to get to display that locally. I've displayed it at conventions, but it's been really fun to get to share it with people here. All right. Good luck, Mayo. Excited to see what comes from your mocking. Thanks for joining. It was really good to chat with you for a little bit. But yeah, I really love those opportunities to display things locally, because it's different than at a Lego convention, where at the Lego convention, you get the general public who comes, right? And then you get all the AFOLs that are there, which is such a joy. But it's so different to talk to like everyday people who aren't Lego builders about them. So which you get, of course, some of that with the public at conventions, but different when you're like showing your stuff at a bar or something. So we did a Bricks and Brews event where we just had stuff on display at Austin Beer Works. which is my favorite brewery in town. And it was so fun and just like a joy to see people coming in and being like, oh my gosh, all this is made out of Lego. And so many adults who were there. A lot of them brought their kids, which is fun, but so many adults who were there who were like, I miss Lego. This is so fun. I need to get back into it. And we were like, yes, you do. It was our lug was there. So great way to recruit more lug members for sure. All right, this is cool. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm building yet for this portion, but more and more interesting parts as we go through. All right. So Mayo was talking about doing the live stream tomorrow on mock building. I'm curious what other mocks y'all are working on. And I'm assuming everybody on the stream knows that mock means my own creation or a build that you design on your own. But that's what it means for those who may not be familiar. It's Lego lingo that we use internally. All right, so now I'm going to attach this to this. Let's see, I'm going to highlight that on the larger layout for y'all to see. So earlier I had this piece that was just kind of loose in there. This is going to keep that locked in place. I flipped it upside down so that these moving bits are going to be inner or inward. And it looks like, oh, Penny. Okay, so this brick here is going to attach here. So that keeps it locked in place there. And then on the front end, we're going to be pushing these pins in to lock that in place. Penny wants you to know that she's ready for me to come out and join Philip for breakfast. I'm sure he's ready too. So being here for a little bit longer and then hop in for breakfast. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, so I locked those in to place and then studded this in, and that's all that's keeping this in here. And y'all, look at this. Okay, so cool. So that goes back and forth. And then if I push this moves the top portion forward and backward. So I'm not sure yet what that'll do, but I'm loving seeing how this works. And that now makes sense as to why that was not studded in below. So let's see. All right, so Rob says, I'm working on a brick repair factory. I saved all my broken browns and yellow whites for it. I love that. I was cleaning up this room for the stream last night, and as I was going through, I found some brittle brown broken bits here and there that I had been saving because I thought maybe I'll want to use these in mocks because I've seen people do that brilliantly, which is so smart. And because I was just in a hurry to clean it all up, I just tossed them in the trash. Now, it is in this trash can in here that's basically just Lego bits or paper, so it's not gross trash. So I could get it out, and maybe I will now. You might have encouraged me to do that to save them. But yeah, I find that anytime I've seen them in people's mocks, I'm like, that's such a clever and smart use of that. Okay, so we're finishing. This bit is rounded here, and we're completing that with the upside down pieces of the, let's see, here we go. These upside down rounded bits. I'm sure that's what Lego wants us to call them, the rounded bits. I know the phrase, and it's escaping me right now, and that's fine. What am I missing? Oh, now I'm using tan. I was looking for yellow. I love the idea of a brick repair factory. That's really fun. Is it minifig scale? That's what's in my head, but it doesn't have to be. For our lug meeting tomorrow, we're supposed to be building some things that could be cyberpunk, or not cyberpunk, steampunk style things, and we have some seed parts that are meant for that, and I don't have anything built at all, so I may get around to it. We'll see. Sometimes I'll do our build challenges that we do monthly. Sometimes I'll just bring other mocks that I've been working on. Since I've been doing the weekly build challenge in that calendar, I always bring those. And I bring my holiday buddies and remind them to vote for them, which is always fun to get to share that with them, whatever the month is. So, yeah. Yes, but it's quite big. So you'll have a lot of little scenes happening and working. Ah, cool. I love the working conveyor belt concept. That's really fun. Are you bringing this to conventions? And which conventions are you going to? And same for everybody who's on the stream. Will we see you at conventions this year? We are headed in April to the first ever Brick Slopes, Colorado, which I'm very excited about because my family's there. Both my brothers are there with their families. And so hopefully they'll get a chance to come to the convention and we'll get to see them there and show off some of our fun things and introduce them to some of our friends. So if you're there, you'll get to meet some of our family. And then we'll be at Brick Rodeo and at Brick Slopes, Utah. So those are the ones we'll be headed to this year. Not going back to Virginia this year, unfortunately. We had a great time, but we can't go to all the things. And since we were adding on the Colorado one, we decided to hold off this year on that. So you'll be in Chicago Brick World, a couple of local conventions, also hoping to get to Rodeo. Yes, please do. And also Utah, but it's going to be very flyable. Yes, or your mock, for sure. I mean, it sounds like it would be a very challenging mock to travel with, for sure. But I would love to see y'all at one or both of those. And everybody should come to Rodeo every year. As it's our local convention, we go every year and have such a blast. It's been such a joy to get to connect with people who come each time. And it's so fun because each year there's new people who are trying it for the first time, and we keep growing. We used to have like 350 AFOLs, and it got up to around 500 or 600, I think, last time. And so we keep growing and we keep needing to expand into a larger space. All right, I'm going to get started on bag 7. And this will probably be the last bag that I work on the stream, just given timing. And I have both myself, I get very hungry for breakfast on these streams. And then also I have a hungry husband who's always wanting to eat with me and waits until I'm done with the streams, which is so kind of him. So I love this answer. I mean, or this response. You mean if it was in Austin, it wouldn't even be a question? Yeah, for sure. I love when it's in Austin because it's so close that we're able to like swing by the house really quickly to pick some things up, or like have people come over to visit and see our place and share some fun time there too. So excited for when it's back in Austin and when you're back in Austin, or when you're in Austin to join us, for sure. So, and agreed, Austin is a wonderful city to visit. So we always love to have people come in, whether for the convention or just because you're wanting to explore Austin. So let us know if you're ever swinging through. I also personally like when it's in Sugarland, and the reason being, I typically am not co-chairing it when it's there. And so it gives me the chance to enjoy the convention with less stress. I find that every time I end up volunteering for things anyway, so I'm sure I'll end up helping out again. That always happens. And I enjoy that for sure, but it's still less pressure and less responsibility, which is nice. Typically, one thing that we end up almost always doing every time is hosting the Gay Fools meetup that happens during the convention, which is very easy to host, and it's just a lot of fun. So always happy to do that, but it's different than when you're a co-chair and having to run lots of different things and be one of the people who's always all hands on deck the whole time. So that is one of the, I wouldn't say drawbacks, but one of the realities of when it's here in Austin that we have to navigate through. So All right. It looks like we're building some joints, possibly arms or leg joints here, using some fun Technic pieces. This is going to be a very large build. For sure. A very large build, but I'm excited for it. I also, so we saw the Mario movie, of course, and loved it. It was so cheesy and fun. And the like ridiculousness of the Peaches song and him playing the piano. We have the grand piano build. It's one of my all-time favorite builds. And so Bowser will probably be playing the piano on display for a little bit. That has to happen at least for a bit of time, for sure. So, and then he'll find his space on this shelf because I'm sure Philip will be happy to have that out for a little bit and then ready to move on to something else. Did I do something wrong? I think. Oh no, I guess not. Okay. The spacing looked wrong in the picture, but it was just my eyes were tricking me. Rob, do you have other smaller MOCs that you'll be bringing with you to conventions if you can't bring your larger one? Or are you determined to make it work with the larger one? And if so, I'll want to be in touch with you to learn how you did it. It's always nice to hear from people about how they travel with these larger MOCs if they're doing it through a flight. So, all right, so this is going on what I think is going to be the right side of his torso. Although it's showing it lining up in a way that this doesn't seem to want to fit. So I don't quite know how that will work. Okay, so I'm having some challenges, and I'll show you what challenges I'm having. This bit that slides back and forth, here I'll show you on the bigger, on this one. This bit that slides back and forth is supposed to be at the same height as where these bricks are right beside it, or where the studs are, so that you can stud across it, but it's like bouncing up a little bit. So I need to figure out why. And then also the picture doesn't match height-wise with what I have built, which then makes me think, did I miss something? But I don't think I did. So, okay, we will try. Okay, so it might just be that I need to force that down. But yeah, the plates, did I miss something? I think I missed something. Oh, the joys of trying to figure out where, like if you missed a step, especially when you're on a live stream, it's like, wait, give me just a minute. Okay, no, okay, it worked. Yeah. The picture is just a little deceptive because in the picture, it looks like the height is at a different height than it actually is. Oh, and I put it in the wrong spot, so I need to move that back. One. My goodness, thanks for your patience, y'all. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's not wanting to push down. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's going to make this harder to move. A little bit harder to move. It's wanting to get stuck a little bit. So there we go. So it's a little bit loose. But it got looser because the bricks came undone. I need to look into that. I'll probably have to look into that after the stream because I think I may have missed something that's making this be a little bit trapped. So I'll figure that out later. Okay, you said not sure yet. A lot of Chicago things you have are on the larger side. And that one, I'm assuming you'll drive to Chicago or no? Because that's a flight, I would assume, for y'all. It all comes down to how you build your MOCs. With any of your MOCs, I'm always thinking about how I'm going to travel with them. Custom crates is the way to go. Yeah. And you're an expert at this for sure, Haley, because your things have been massive. Your mocks have been massive, but you have a system down. And I love that so much. You clearly know what you're doing. So, for anybody wanting to learn from somebody who's done this stuff really well, connect with Haley. I hope you don't mind that I'm sending people your way. But definitely. Um, you seem to know how to do this really well. So that's where, like, with my Barbie mock that I made, that I brought to Brick Rodeo a couple times. It's cute, it's fun. It's not my favorite. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it was my favorite in terms of like just the joy and the fun of it. But it's not like the most technically cool build I've ever built or anything. I just think it's fun. And when I designed it, I wasn't designing it for the purpose of traveling. I was designing it just for like the fun of like having it in our house. And so it's very fragile, because it uses lots of like just one by one sections that are the towers of the that hold up the whole structure and everything. It's not designed for play. It's designed for display. And yeah, traveling with it every single time. Now I know where it breaks and how it's going to break. And so I tend to like just take it apart already going into the whatever traveling I'm going to do, so that I know, okay, pop this part back on, especially like the big chimney in the middle. It's going to fall off. I know that every time. So, but that's not anything near like the size or scale of what you've done with your really, really cool mocks that you've brought to that we've seen, I think, mostly at Brick Rodeo. I don't think I remember seeing you at Brick Slopes. I think it was just Rodeo. Um, you drive to Chicago. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So ways, but you enjoy the drive. Okay, yeah, that is nice to not feel as limited with space. Plus, it means you can do things like, oh, yes, right. Toss in the car. We can easily go and pick that stuff up. We had friends who were in Utah ask like, hey, can we ship something to your house and have you drive it to um, to Brick Rodeo this year? And we're like, maybe. How big is it? But probably, like, that should be fine. And so, it is nice when you have a car with you and or have people that can help you out with some of that kind of stuff too. So, yeah. Yay! And I love that you share a booth with Bethany. So I'm assuming that's Interactive Bricks, Bethany, our joint friend. Uh, all good mocks have tons of ones. Thank you, Pink Wheels. Agreed, agreed. So y'all, another person who's a fantastic mock builder is our friend here, Pink Wheels. And definitely check out, I don't remember the name of your mock that had the glowing bits in it, but really, really beautiful mock with incredible uh, like forest type detail, but from a very like imaginative place, which is really fun. Wonderful tribute to elves. Okay, so building out the other side. Yay. Yes, Bethany is a dear friend of ours too. I've gotten to know her through Instagram mostly, and finally got to meet Robin, Danielle, as well as Bethany at what convention was that? Brick Fair, Virginia. So it was so fun to finally meet in person and hang out and get some time together. And so Bethany has taught me a lot about movement, which is really cool. I love the collaborative nature of this community and how willing people are to like teach you how they did something and help you out and learn with you too. Like she's been a good friend and a great educator too. She's really good at that kind of stuff. So I'm always excited to see her mocks, which I've up until Virginia had only seen online. And so it was such a joy to finally get to see them in person. And she brought so many great mocks that were movement mocks. And I did a video interview with her. Actually, I think I've done video interviews with everyone who's on the chat right now, which is awesome. That is so fun. Okay. I'm excited with rodeo this year. I think I'll have a chance to do more of those interviews. At previous rodeos, I've done them when they're in Houston and Sugarland area because I have the bandwidth to. But yeah, when it's in Austin, it's been harder. Okay, something is off here, and I need to figure that out. It might just be like something's loose down below. Can't quite see anything that would be off though. And looking at the pictures, it looks like I have all the pieces in place where they're supposed to go. So I don't quite understand what is happening. It could just be that this is like a precarious part of the build. And with it being Technic, with movement compatibility, that everything has to be like absolutely perfect, you know? So, oh no, the mock was taken apart. You've spread pieces of it to various friends. Oh, that is so sweet. I love that. Yes, great people. Oh, that's really fun. I love that you shared different bits and pieces though with them. That's really cool. I had the joy of getting to see that at Brick Slopes, which was just so much fun. So the mock, I love that so much. Hopefully no one ever goes to destroy the Horcruxes though. No, no, no. We need you to be there and able to make the next big mock. So that's really funny. I love that. Yay. Okay, good. So Haley says it's fine. Everybody come bother her with all the questions. Yeah, definitely. I may be bothering you with some questions about how to transport some mocks. Mostly with you were saying the custom crates. I need to know more about what you mean by that. So yeah, y'all, this is not wanting to go on. So I don't know if anybody has built Bowser who joins this and watches this later and had any trouble yourself with some of it. Can you reach out to me and let me know what you did? Let's see, because this is just not wanting to go on. Let me make sure that I have the right. Yep. Okay. So I had the right side. It's like this thing is like a seesaw. And so when I push this side down, it bumps this side up to where this won't attach. And I don't know what's going on. And it's driving me bonkers. So I am not coming to Brick World. I wish. I really wish I was. You love your friendship with the Pink Garage Doors for sales. Oh my gosh, yes. And y'all are all super talented builders, which is so fun. I love when people get to connect. Either you've never seen each other's stuff before, and so maybe you connected through my stream or through Instagram. That's honestly why I like to do the video interviews at the conventions, is because it's like I know all these really cool people, and I want everybody else to know these really cool people too, because they're amazing and they're wonderful, just humans in general. So, okay, I think I am not going to attach those now. I'm gonna have to come back to it later because that's not wanting to work the way that it's supposed to, which means I'm probably going to be at a stopping point, and that is okay. So it's 11:45. It's been an hour and 15 minutes anyway, so I should probably log off and head in to work on breakfast with my husband. But thank you all for joining, and thanks for engaging in the chat. It's really, really fun to get to share time with some friends, and I really appreciate y'all. Just in general, like it's y'all are wonderful people. Just to show you before I log off, I'll show again. I started the stream with this, but I think it was before y'all had joined. This is what I built yesterday. So this is the base of Bowser. It's huge. If Philip is on the chat, I promise you that I will find a space in this room for it, and it won't have to be out there, because I know that he was concerned about the size of it, which rightfully so. Our house is full of Lego. But these towers come off. There's nothing special hidden under this one, but this one on the other side, they actually fall off, so I'm going to remove it. On the other side, this one has a hidden detail, which I think is so fun. Pow! And it's printed on both sides. So it's actually two different 1x2 bricks. Yeah, 1x2 bricks that are in there. But I love that that hidden detail is there. And then this front portion slides out, and there's the little scanner thing so that if you have the Mario, which we don't have one, and now I have a number of sets that have these scanners, and like, I kind of want one. But ultimately, I don't know that I want to buy like any of the big sets for it. So maybe I'll go to Bricks and Minifigs and find someone who's selling just the piece or whatever, or find one on Bricklink. But I loved the like rocky structure. Like this was so much fun, and I did a time lapse build of this whole portion. But when it gets to this portion here, building that out, it's so satisfying to watch it all kind of come together in the time lapse. So yes, enormous set. He is going to be a very large monster, and I'm so excited to have him. But yeah, there's a reason I put him off. We don't really have space for him, and yeah, I'm gonna need to find space in here somehow, which probably means taking some things apart. So anyway, thanks again for joining. I am going to go have brunch, and I will see y'all next time. Yay, build kindness, y'all.